that's good. I am at this beautiful lake here in my hometown. It's not a lake, sorry. It's the ocean. And I actually had an interesting experience somewhere back over there a long time ago, a few years ago, where when I had an experience that I don't usually talk about, and I wasn't going to talk about that in this video, but now I started, might as well tell it. It was a period of my life where there was a lot of attention on me and my personal brand, and I was kind of I had just let go of my partnership with my business partnership, and we used to do annual conferences and workshops, etc. And we figured that we were done doing that, and I was I don't know if the at some point in Oslo we were at a statue, and I had this let's just call it, it was a sight or something that showed itself to me. Very challenging to talk about, I'm noticing, but it started with me. I was with some friends. We were juggling and smoking joints and just having a good time in a park in Oslo. And then at some point I was thinking, I don't know, I was like on this ego trip comes to mind, and it just felt invincible. And I had just done a webinar with Jamie Smart, pointing to innate well-being. A part of me felt very free at the time, and creative and divergent in my lifestyle and thinking. And another part of me was searching a lot and looking for more safety. I understand now, looking back at it, and we were there at that night, and there was something I got the idea of just thinking about climbing. There's like a big statue there. And I was like, I could probably climb that. And it's a big, tall statue. And until this day, I know that I probably could have easily done that, but it would be a dangerous thing to do. And it kind of goes back to my history and personality of just wanting to be at the edge a lot, enjoying and enjoying, just exploring the edges of possibility and what's possible, and learning from always challenging the norm or challenging the containers of systems and society, etc. Um, and it's been kind of part of why I've succeeded with a lot of things that I do. But at that point, it was like, okay, am I really? And it was like a part of me was like kind of wanting to climb the statue, which would have been dangerous, especially under the influence. But then I don't know and then something happened. I can't explain it very well in words, without sounding loco. But the only way I can describe it is that there was this like feeling of, well, feeling of. First, my friend came up to me and showed me his wrist, and there was like a glowing tattoo on his wrist with some kind of pattern, sign, symbol thing. And he doesn't have that tattoo, so that feels like something out of a dream or something. And then I sensed this like, okay, this might sound completely mental, but I'm still gonna say it because why not? Then there was this crowd of people. I saw this crowd of, almost like I saw dead people or some kind of like crowd of people or statues, kind of almost like standing or marching around the main statue. It's like a statue that looks like a. It's a famous statue in Oslo, by a famous artist called Vigeland, and it's a big, almost like an erection, and there's naked people climbing up. So what I saw was almost like a bunch of people around that, um, standing on some kind, or walking down or up, or kind of like, it felt like the Industrial Revolution painting or something. Okay, that sounds so. Anyways, and then this feeling kind of like went from, it felt like uh, from under the earth, or and or from the center of the earth, and kind of like came up, and kind of this euphoric feeling that was kind of exponentially growing and expanding while I was looking at that statue. And then, I kid you not, this is the whole heaven just opened, and turned into like the most beautiful colors. I'd say tropical colors, maybe. But it was um, too rich for to describe in words. And then this feeling of unconditional love just arose and expanded and increased so much, and to a point where I to a point where I got scared. Like I got my to a point where it's almost like it went like exponential and broadening and divergent, and then it like it kind of, it's almost like as soon as it was kind of opening, and then the intellect kind of was trying to grasp it or understand what was going on. And as soon as doubt came into the picture, um, it was over. Like it was almost like I doubted the the love or um, the awe. It was too much for the person, for the ego to comprehend. So I had to kind of doubt it in order to comprehend it, if that makes sense. And as soon as that happened, this whole sight that I had, or was given to me, or I was part of, uh, kind of went back into this normal life. And that was very intense. So I kind of like felt afraid, and then I remember running to my at the time girlfriend, and just felt very like drawn to her, and then almost like I had to announce something or something, but then it kind of stopped. Like it stopped, and kind of like I felt choked or like limited or contained, compared to the the sight or the awe that I just had seen. Uh, Words don't come easy. So, um, and that was so powerful of an experience that I was what people would probably consider psychotic for weeks or months after that. Um, and then, yeah, so big part of that experience was the feeling that I was one with everything. Um, so it's like, if you have ever felt that, when you feel that you're one with everything, or at least get a glimpse of it, or if it's only just for a moment, then you know that there's nothing wrong. You know, there's nothing wrong with anything. There's no place to go. There's no need. You're not searching for anything. You're not trying to get anywhere. You're not trying to get things done. You're not trying to be more productive. You're not trying to get laid. You're not trying to heal anything. You're not trying to make more money. You just know that whatever is full, fullkommen. It's fulfillment. It's what is. It's already. It's already. it is. It's already what it is, kind of. And the only. It's only when we conceptualize what is that we limit stuff or our experience, or and we kind of see things as dual. We see things as separated. So if we believe that we're separated, and we see the world from the egotistical perspective, or that's just a charged word. It's just a way of saying, the human experience. Then we need to. We think we need to change stuff, and do the right thing. So when I came back to myself and started selfing again, uh, I immediately started doubting and fearing what I had just been shown. So this very persuasive illusion that we're experiencing, um, will kind of affirm, um, see, words can sometimes, um, try to see if you can read between the lines, or listen to the feeling behind the words that I'm saying. But it's almost like this illusion, this persuasive illusion that we're living in, is constantly affirming the opposite of what is true. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's like we're looking at something beautiful out there, um, because we're beautiful, because beautifulness is happening through us, from the inside out. It's not outside in. Um, but what happened when, after this experience, I started doubting, because now, you know, um, I started doubted what I saw, and I got scared. I saw that after feeling like one with everything, I kind of saw that everyone is just thoughts. And bear with me now. So it's like, which is true. This is all one universal thought. I'm really, you know, and we are being thunk, if that makes sense. We are verbs, not subjects. So we are activities of consciousness. We're not. It's not. Consciousness is one. It's not like we are. This is my consciousness, and it's your consciousness. You are listening to your true self, and I am talking to myself. Like, this is happening. This is just happening, and we're creating. We're the creators. So we're creating and perceiving our experience. Uh, 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 yeah, and it's So interesting. Um, so after that happened, I started doubting, and then it's like, mm. So my ego immediately was trying to find back to that feeling and wanting to understand and grasp what had happened, and trying to get back to that, and just being super confused. I felt like everyone, because the thing is, yes, we are one thought. We're not even, like, even the one is kind of contained as a concept. So even before one, it's just thought. Ex- thought is happening. That's and I hadn't that shown to me, and an understanding of that, but it's not a conceptual understanding for the intellect. So when I got back to my intellect and back to my kind of ego, I was trying to grasp it, and that is kind of a way to kind of misunderstand. It's like, as soon as we say that something is something, um, immediately we're kind of contracting truth. So now we are only seeing what we are um, judging it to be. And that's again the human experience, which is fine. But having been shown the all and the awe of of universal mind, and then kind of um, with no boundaries, coming back to a boundaryful experience, then um, kind of confused me and scared me, and then it's almost impossible not to misunderstand the understanding you have just been given. So that knowing became stories and doubt, which I also believe is happening with religion. There's a knowing of who we are, which turns into stories and fables and misunderstandings and knots of cluttered minds and interpretations and, you know, arguments, which was originally, it's pointing to the same isness of life, and beauty and miracle of, of the cosmic joke. So yeah, I after that had a breakdown of my ego, I suppose. What might have been called a psychotic breakdown, and thinking that, just looking at life very differently than just this um, sober, down to earth, normal, pragmatic view to me, I could see like synchronicities in everything all the time, like all the time, like even just like 5 different words in one sentences being said at the perfect timing of something happening, a bird eating, flying next to the window, which meant this and this, and kind of connecting so many dots and so fast, uh, and kind of seeing more than I could understand, if that makes sense. Um, so so I didn't even know what to do with that energy. I just knew that this is real and more than I just it's almost like I don't even know how to explain. It was almost like just science and history and philosophy and this generations of stories and knowledge just came downloaded into or through me. Um, so I naturally, yeah, like, and then you have that combined with also the perspective or the strong illusion that I am a body, you know, that I'm a human being, and this flesh vehicle, you know. So I didn't know what to do about it. So it's just overwhelming, uh, and in that during that time, I at some point, it's kind of embarrassing, but at some point I went down to this place over there, actually behind that little, let's see, behind that, oh yeah, behind the trees over there, and it was like I had to prove to myself or to others my love for women, for my girlfriend, for my mother, for my sisters, and jump in the water naked. And I, oh my God, first I pissed in my pants, and then I took off my pants in the sieve that's like this over there. This is a few years ago. And then I jumped in the water naked and swam across the lake, and then uh, and then I was gonna swim back. And this is all just like um, thoughts that I believed in had meaning, that I was supposed that I had to do that for whatever reason. Um, and yeah, feeling a little bit vulnerable and stupid talking about it, but it's the truth, so fuck it. Um, um, when I swam back, I got stuck in the sand underneath the water, and I realized I wasn't able to swim anymore. So I actually started sinking in the sand, and the more I moved, the more it was just like I couldn't. It started to get dangerous, and not only that, but I hadn't told anyone why I went down there or that I was going down there at all. I was actually at my sister's, and my family was there because I was very acting very strange and feeling like I could manifest diamonds through my eyes, and I could see stuff that other people couldn't see, and the whole thing. There's many more details to this story, but um, what happened is that in the water, I had to kind of like stop swimming and stop moving, and I was just in the water, kind of like slowly thinking, okay, this might be it. And then as soon as I had that thought, there was kind of this silence that came, And when the silence came, it was like it's like an energetic shift, and it's like the energy was opening for insights again. And at that moment, I saw an airplane far up in the sky, and I think I felt so alone at that time that just seeing that airplane was like a miracle, and that I felt connected to the people in the airplane. It was like, okay, all the people, I don't know. There was something about getting close to the edge of dying, um, and that yeah, um, that it was opening. It was an opening for something new, and when I saw the plane, I was like, ah, and I felt deep connection with other people again for the first time in a long time, and then I had a realization, and the realization was that I could ask for help. So I saw the people in the airplane, and I was like, oh, and the realization was I could ask for help. And it's funny because when I realized it, I was like, oh, help. And I said it not even louder than that. It was like, help. And then I realized, oh, I'm in actual danger here. I need to really like scream for help. And when I did that, I was like, and I screamed, hell, and like from the top of my lungs, and then just in the instant I screamed, it was like my batteries were like, and 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 I just my energy was refilled. I felt new and empowered and strong, and so I just like powered my way through the water in a way that I knew I wasn't able to just 1 minute before. And then I powered through the sand and the water, and I cut myself on multiple shells, and I was bleeding from both of my feet a lot, but I was able to save myself just from the sheer power I felt from that insight and just asking for help, or you can give it, you can call it a gift from God, anything. It was just a miracle. And then I felt reborn and walked back completely naked from that spot all the way to my sister's house. It's like, I don't know, 600 meters or something. And I was happy. I was reborn. I was so happy and grounded and calm, and you know apparently it was the exact thing I needed, um, internally for me, and it was miraculous. So at one point, there was people, and I walked past, like there's like a bunch of houses there, so probably like 60 homes, was able, if I don't know if anyone saw me, but they definitely could if they looked out their window, see this naked guy with bleeding feet walking across their lawn. uh, like, yeah, uh, and then obviously there's consequences of doing that. My sister was scared. I went down in her. I went inside her house again and down into the bathroom in the bathtub to clean my wounds and on in my feet. But I was just full of adrenaline and happy and it was just I don't even know how to explain it other than that happened. It's powerful. I think it's a reminder that we are more able than we think we are. And I mean that literally. Like we think, so our thinking, the content of our thinking, is always uh, a narrowed version of the truth. So even when I speak now, it's like, and by the way, I'm doing this thanks to one of you guys' comments. Fau, one of you's name is Fau something. Thank you for commenting. I really appreciate it. Um, and you were asking me to elaborate more on what I mean with not being the person and this non-dual um, understanding of life. So um, yeah, again, I really appreciate your comment, and yeah, that's it weighs more than you might think. Likes and comments, etc. It's not about for me. It's not about. I've been through the phase of trying to get as many likes and views, etc., as possible. That's cool, but what I really want is to connect deeper and to uh, to hopefully create some impact. So if this is resonating and you like this and you want more of this, please let me know. Um, yeah. So so yes, that's my point. You are always there's always like you can always know. I'm telling you, you can always know that you're more than you think you are. That's just you know that's just how it is. Like think about it. Where do we come from? Where how does our nails grow? How does our hair grow? What makes a swan fly to a specific spot in uh, Portugal every October? Or what does like how do animals know how to act? Like why do we get horny in the springtime? Like where were we before the Big Bang? Like like there's so like most of this thing we call life we have no clue about. Like our relationship as a species, our relationship to the unknown is very immature. It's very like we like to know, like we like to to like Joe Rogan says, we need to bang on things to know it's real. We like to think that what's real is what we can see, and but that's a very 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 limited uh, um, part of reality. We we can't even understand the fullness of life. So this you commenting asked about me to elaborate more on why we're not the person. Well, just think about it. We don't even know. We don't even remember our own birth. You know. Um, we our this this experience looks real to us. We're engaged in this whole experience, and we think we are the human body, but if you zoom in on life, you'll see that it's all subatomical particles, and only what we can see is like a tiny percentage of what life really is. Like most of life, and what we can see is what we call black matter. And black matter is just a fancy word for we have no idea. So that's why I think it's interesting to delve in the unknown and open up uh, for what we don't know, because that's what that's what's called love. That's what's called universal mind. That's what's called, um, Allah. That's what that's who we really are. Um, you know, it's formlessness turning into form. And the thing is, we wake up in the morning and we identify with a human. Not even philosophizing or thinking about the fact that we were just like consciousness was how do how can I put this in words? Consciousness was conscious of unconsciousness. That's sleeping. And then we wake up, we immediately identify with this body, this ego, this personality, this person. Um, and then we take on the mask that we had yesterday, this role. So we play this role, and then uh, we use this present moment uh, to think about a story. We engage in a storyline. We think about a present, a future. That's not ever real. It's just in the present moment. So this present moment is this constant cosmic joke that we are narrating, if that makes sense. And then we buy into it, it's not like there's anything good or bad or right or wrong about this. It's just very interesting to know. And I feel more resilient after learning more about the nature of life, and diving into the unknown, because we can I don't get so caught up in if I succeed or fail, or if I have a lot of money or little money, or if I'm able to feel the whole palette of feelings and all the colors of life without feeling so attached to them, because in the ego understanding, in the dual, in the world of someone constantly identifying with the form, constantly identifying with the body, it's very important that the body don't get sick. It's very important that that you organize circumstances and control everything the right ways in order to feel a certain way, because we give meaning to everything. We make causes and effects that are not really there. The only ultimate absolute cause of anything is just life happening. You know, it's just we are consciousness humaning. We're a verb. Okay? We are a verb. We are not a subject. We are an activity. We are an activity of consciousness. It's like we are waves of the ocean. It's like a drop in the ocean. It's like a wave is part of the ocean. A human is a part of being. That makes sense. It's a yeah. And then it becomes very impersonal. You don't take stuff so personally anymore. You don't worry too much about someone calling you an asshole, or you don't even worry too much about your own personality that much, you know? You have preferences, and it's like things get easier. It's easier to to build muscles or keep being healthy or eating healthy because you don't have so much chips on the plate. You know, the more chips you have on the, when I say chips on the plate, I mean invested energy. When you have so much invested energy in yourself, you're always selfing all the time. It's like, oh, I'm important. I need people to like me, and I need things to go right, and I need to constantly make sure that I'm good enough and have money enough, etc. You're not noticing that you're sticking sticks in your own wheels because life was full before you even started that game. So, so the whole act of that game is just creating more content um, in your illusion in the matrix. It's like being in the matrix, trying to have a good, just like in the movie Matrix, the guy was like, okay, I want to go back into the Matrix because he's, he's just seeking pleasure. He's going back into Matrix, and he wants to eat steak every day and has the perfect girlfriend and what, lots of money or a car, etc., etc. Not saying there's anything wrong with um, desires and wants, but there's something underneath that's already there. You're already there. Um, you are already full. You're already more than you think you are. We are already more than we think we are. Um, so the guy in Matrix is trying to organize the Matrix for his liking and pleasure, but he will never find fulfillment that way because he's searching for himself. And that's what I'm saying. We're not our bodies. That's not who we are. Um, we are life. Bodies is an activity of life. If you look, yeah, like I said, if you zoom enough into the subatomic particles, you will see that there's no boundary. There's no boundary between um, the uh, the fungi that's in the air, or the air itself, and my fingers. There's no real boundary there. If you zoom in enough, there's 99% black matter, all of this, and it's just, particles. And when you study, that, and that's where it becomes interesting with the quantum physics and the double, what's it called, the double helix experiment or whatever, and the um, and the observer, because you can have an experience, but who is experiencing that experience? Who is thinking your thoughts? Who is watching this video? Um, who is the one asking yourself who is watching this video? Who is the one observing the asking? that's a relevant question. I feel like that's the only relevant question, because then you come back, or then you kind of like come back to here and now, and you see that um, the observer has always been with you. The observer has always been there. And then we fall in and out of this illusion all the time. And yeah, I was gonna talk about choice. See, but yeah, I can. That's another way in. We innocently believe that we have choice, and I definitely operate from the perspective of having choice. That's the beauty and the dance of life, is that it looks like what it does, and that includes choice. And when we come from a peaceful mind, when we remember who we are, when we are so-called heart aligned, then choices are easy, because choices come through us. They're done for us. And when things look difficult and cluttered, then we get caught up in uh, the idea of that choices are important, that anything are important, really. Um, and and we suffer. We suffer in the idea that there's wrong or right, and we have to choose right, because anything else is dangerous. Because we fear the unknown. We don't have to fear the unknown. We don't have to fear death. We don't have to fear the unknown. We don't have to fear making wrong choices, because it's all one. It's to put it in a better way, it's not two. I have a there are some see, and you start delving into this, you'll easily notice how language is very dual. Like everything I say, don't trust anything I say, by the way. Because those are, words coming from this seeming body, and words are just sounds coming out. It's just, again, formlessness turning into form, and the sound and the words are form, and they can never really describe 100% where they come from. It's like if I say I love you, or if I say um, I feel wonderful. Like, the word wonderful doesn't come close to where it came from. You know what I mean? Like what I feel, or what even the shapes of that feeling are, or the shapes of where it came from. It's like it's the closest thing we have to kind of um, communicate, obviously. Um, but my point is that you have your answers, and they are not mine to give you. So these live streams that I do is more for to just share my understanding and some energy, and hopefully, maybe attribute some space for grace and insight, and you know there's an for me there's an energetic shift that's available. um, yeah. Wow. Now I'm gonna take my bike and enjoy some more nature. Thank you for watching, and yeah, this has been fun.